Welcome to the Whitewater Cultural Arts Center, the home of the Whitewater Art Alliance. My name is Jason. I am a member of the Alliance, and I am the coordinator of this particular show. In 2018, I had the opportunity to have a number of friendship lunches with the previous director, at which time she nudged me into participating in the calendar of events for the gallery. I took the challenge and I said, I'll go with this. And in the whole process, I've had to deal with a number of artists. I've come to the realization that there's so much diversity that I had to make some choices. And one of the good choices I made was the understanding that there doesn't seem to be enough, from my point of view, soft pastels. And soft pastel has always been kind of a nice touch in my viewing of art. This brought me to the selection of an artist for October, and in which case I returned to one of my previous students, and I saw some energy and some devotion to soft pastels. And it so happens that Tatijana agreed to do this, agreed to have an exhibition in this gallery.
My name is Tatijana Jacenkiw. I am a pastel artist, and I have a one-person exhibition at the Whitewater Arts Alliance. I've shown at the Old Town Art Center a couple of times and at the Ukrainian National Museum in Chicago, both in Chicago, but I do take part in juried exhibitions. I picked up the pastel medium because it was imminent. It felt familiar to hold a colorful stick in my hand versus a monochromatic lead pencil. As an architect, I started painting in pastel, and the more involved I got in the artwork, I also realized there was a pastel society in Chicago. And I started showing there and eventually got involved and became the president of the Chicago Pastel Painters. I started taking a pastel class. When I wanted to paint a portrait, that instructor told me I wasn't ready. And I got very angry and frustrated. And I went home and I looked into the telephone book or the online to check out where I could learn how to paint people. That night I found Gay Riseborough, an artist, a portrait artist in Evanston, who taught not only at evenings at the Art Institute, but she taught at her own studio in Evanston. I called her the next day. She told me to come over with my things, and I started the following week. Challenges never cease, and they never will, at least for me. There's always something else to conquer. There's something different to paint. You know, you're not good every single day. There was a story that I heard from an artist that said that you should never fall in love with your painting because you'll never get better. And I have a different theory. I say that you should fall in love with at least one spot in your painting and carry that with you going forward. In today's world, I would just say connect via Zoom, be it take a class or teach a class or just share information about your artwork or anything else or your hobby. The Whitewater Art Alliance has given me a unique opportunity to show a vast array of my work from the time pretty much that I started painting till just recently. When I started taking classes, this kind of painting was my objective. More impressionistic but realistic. Painting from life changes me. I start that way and then I see the colors or light reflecting and I could go crazy. So the next paintings. This is actually Polka Dot Dress is probably the painting I like most out of almost all my paintings because it was a milestone. I had painted this model. It was a 3-hour class and I was done maybe in about 2.5 hours, and I put up another piece of paper and I just painted her the way I felt. There was no thinking, nothing. I just responded to the light, to the color, and to whatever my pastels were in the box. A lot of my work, when I work from life, I always like having the final end. You know, you work a lot on the whole figure or a face, And I love having the last half hour or 15 minutes of a sitting be something rather unique. And these, this is another one that was another probably 15 minutes to half an hour. And it's a joy to be able to recapture something in such a short period of time after having another painting done. Now, painting from life, you have all sorts of models. And one time we had somebody come in with their 6-year-old granddaughter, and I brought the painting home. She just was precocious in her white dress and had a sassy look to her, and I thought that the painting needed filling. So she reminded me of Alice. It was a green chair, which I made into a throne and added as many animals into it as I could. It was just a fun piece to do. This painting here, Leda and the Swans, really, again, was from the same studio. The model was wearing a blue dress, and I came home and it was, well, how do I fill in the rest of it? We saw the American swan. I'm gonna add them, and so it became Leda and the Swans. Obviously, I use a lot of photographs in my work as well, because you can't always get people. This was a girl that I took a photo of from a long distance in a botanical garden, and I added the wreath. And this is the most recent, one of the most recent paintings that's in the exhibit, and that's a self-portrait that I used both photographs and mirror to paint it. And I was trying to figure out how do I tie it to make people understand that I was painting a portrait of myself. So I tied it back and I said, I'm coloring my hair blue to kind of pull it back to me and make it a virtual circle. My other favorite model are vegetable for still life. So, I mean, I get to choose whatever colors I want, they sit there for me, and then my husband usually uses them for our dinner. So you get a lot for the model. So I love beets, so these are some beets, and I love red, and I just try to use bright colors as much as I can in most of my still lives. As an architect or a former architect, I tried to stay away from painting any buildings that I could for years. I did people, fruits, flowers, and eventually landscapes. And then I decided to give landscape a try. First painting that I tried to do a landscape, one of the first ones was this one. It was from a photograph from a vacation that we took in Ukraine. And it just was colorful, and it was more enticing than what you would consider a regular cityscape. I guess that planted a seed. And what I enjoyed, since I enjoyed people, I subsequently started painting people in the city. I think this painting became kind of the change for me, because the people were the focus and people in movement, so there was shadows and all these other aspects that I enjoyed, but it led me into, gave me more confidence into painting cityscapes. Travel has inspired me in my work of people, my photographs. I have a series of Ukraine on the website. These are some of the sketches that have come about from the various Zoom sessions of still life modeling that I've done. I've also done, as I mentioned before, small pieces, but none of them have been framed to be able to bring here. But as you can see, a little screen doesn't stop people, doesn't stop artists. I think everybody should take advantage of whatever they can under the circumstances nowadays.
Now that we've all seen the show and we've spent a lot of time studying the spontaneity of soft pastels and the rich colors and the passion that goes into it, I'd like to remind all of you that the Whitewater Arts Alliance is not just one show, but many shows. And the year is divided up monthly, and the visual arts are a combination of painters and sculpture and metal sculpture, ceramics. We have it all here. It's important that you know that the Whitewater Arts Alliance is not simply a gallery devoted to the visual arts. Just wonderful days of viewing art and appreciating the community engagement in the Whitewater Art Alliance and the Whitewater Cultural Arts Center. Thank you for all being here.